Sarah, so can you say your name, location, and your career title or therapy title or the technique that we're investigating right now?
So my name is Sara Egert, and I am currently in Portland, Oregon. And at this moment in time, I consider myself like a wellness consultant because I dabble. When I say dabble, there's different modalities. One being yoga, the other Feng Shui consultant, so kind of our outer world that reflects our inner world, and then also a breathworker. So using kind of all three, but really with breathwork.
And what are you here for today?
I am here to talk to you, but to also share, taking a break. So I'm here to share. I'm here to share about breathwork and the amazing modality of helping oneself and all of us just really get to our core being of who we truly are and work on becoming our best self. And so with that, it's also working with the healing modality within it, with that component, and also to help, with a death urge, like a suicide. We're all going through a lot, each one of us in different ways or forms, and just to bring a conscious awareness that there's other modalities and that are so healing for everyone.
Beautiful, thank you. So, how did you discover breathwork? Tell us your story, your backstory.
My story about breathwork.
Yeah.
This is great, and I'll talk forever about it.
Yeah, that's good. No, I won't. This is where the chunk of it comes from.
Oh. So back...
Normalizing it all,
So back in 2014, I was going through a major life change. A lot of things I'm going to say in my life were falling apart. I'm going to stop for a second. How am I just looking in the camera? Am I okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you look great. The rose is over here. You're on the side of the camera. The rose is over here, so it's like a beautiful picture.
Okay, perfect.
You look wonderful.
Because I was like, wait, I've been looking at the camera, should I be looking at you?
No.
Okay.
Talk to the people. And the people, hello.
So, the reason I got into breathwork was back in 2014. I was at a place in my life, I just felt like everything was falling apart. I was doing the best I could in the moment. I had a relationship that ended, and with that, I was also in a place in my life that if I were to get in a car accident and die, I would be okay. I didn't know what else to do. I was doing everything I could, like I mentioned, and I didn't know what else was next. And during that summer, I was part of a book club, and through the spiritual center that I was attending. And at this book club, a few people were bringing up breathwork. And I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, you just need to go try it. And it would just kind of come up again. And so with them talking about breathwork, it would present itself on just invites, and it just wasn't the right timing. So finally, I make the decision to show up to one of these breathwork circles. And it was at a yoga studio, and I love going to events by myself. Actually, it's better because I don't know anyone, and I can be my own process and just absorb whatever is coming up. And so I show up, and the girl goes, oh, hi, honey, have you ever done breathwork before? And I'm like, yeah, pranayama, which is a yogic breath, and different breathing techniques along those ways. And she's like, oh, it's a little different. I'm like, okay, whatever. So she sets up everything, and when I say set up everything, just setting up in a beautiful container of sharing, and then guides us through this breath. And I get done, and I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? I need to do more of this. This is crazy. Oh my God. And so literally I just kept on showing up. And even after the first one, I'm like, how does she do this? What is she doing? Oh my God, I could never do this. And in my mind, I was thinking, Sarah, you actually told yourself this when you were taking yoga classes. Oh my gosh, I could never take yoga classes. And you became a yoga teacher. So I continued to show up to breathwork, show up to the breathwork circles.
Joys of children.
So I continued to show up to breathwork circles and then eventually became friends with her. And she just started inviting me to like major events where breathwork, the father of breathwork in the Western world, his name is Leonard Orr, he would come to Atlanta. At the time I was living in Atlanta, Georgia. And I would attend like some of his events and just being the essence and of him and some of his greatest students too, just teaching and being it, again, just having these major breakthroughs. And some were just, I felt really good. I felt afterwards like the world had been lifted off my shoulders and every breathe was completely different. And I have a personal tendency just to follow my curiosity. And this was so ideal for me is none of my friends would ever go to this stuff. And that's what I loved, like it was my own little thing and I just met more people. And just because of that process, I then became part of the year-long seminar that Leonard Orr puts on. And it was based in Atlanta. So he would come down once a month or one of his students would come down. So I was diving in more, so a whole day was dedicated to breathwork and learning about it and like one-on-one sessions, and it was amazing supporting other people. So I was learning, I was becoming more comfortable. And I started hosting and or supporting my good friend with breathwork. So I was learning more and like walking around the room and like just facilitating and being part of that. And I was ready for more because of what people were processing. I wanted to be able to fully support them better and have a better understanding. So I decided, let me think, this was in 20... So I decided to look at additional training for breathwork. And I ended up going with teachers that were based out of California. Taking a pause. Should I be mentioning their names? Everyone's name?
Good question.
I know.
Probably not.
I was going to ask you.
Don't worry about the first one. You can always, I can always delete it. But just, yeah. And if I can later on, then I'll ask you. You know what I mean? I'll ask if it's that sort of situation, just in case. We don't want to have any legal.
I know. That's what I was just saying. Yeah. Leonard Orr's passed away. I think he would be totally fine with it.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone will be, but nice question. And just people from now on, I'll say
everything
that's
else.
Good to know.
I was going to say that because if I struck about anything else, okay.
Great question. Thank you.
All right.
And you can say I can't mention the name because we don't have permission right now, but maybe later on. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then
That's what we just said. Okay.
So after some research, I decided to go with some teachers that were based out of California, and they actually brought a lot of their teachings around the world. And I decided to take one of their trainings and went away, did that, and it was just profound work, just on a whole other level, and continued with their training processes. And it was amazing supporting others and also being in a room and listening to everyone's story. So my journey with breathwork, even when it first started, and listening to the people share in their circles, having compassion for people, because this is how they're showing up to everyday life, and having more compassion for them and understanding. And I learned so much about language and words of things that we hold within our body. And some of my biggest breakthroughs in the first part of breathwork was, I would actually say maybe it was my first breathe. I mean, it was so long ago, but is that as a young girl, I was really sensitive and emotional about things. And it was not okay to always like cry up even about good things, or or even about bad things. So that was the first thing that came out in my first process of breathwork, of like releasing it's not okay, and also being a place of it is okay to be in my emotions, and like noticing how it is being felt in my body in a very supported and loving way. So yes.
Beautiful. Thank you. What's the biggest reward as a breathworker instructor, or however you want to label yourself? Got bugs on you. Nature.
Well, it's like a spider on my
nature.
back, and I was like, I need to stop. Where is it? Okay. Oh, it's right there. It's right there. Okay.
There he is. That's good luck.
Oh my gosh. Ask the question again, please.
Yes, of course. What is the biggest reward that you get from being a breathwork instructor? Are you okay?
Yeah, it's a really great question. What's my reward?
Yeah, take your time. No worries. And it's probably a loaded question, so just think of the don't analyze the first thing that comes to your head, and then don't analyze it. That's going to be the right thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ask the question again.
What is the biggest reward as a breathwork instructor?
Okay. The biggest reward that I have experienced up into this moment in time is holding breeze and teaching breeze and supporting. So I like to say that I'm holding space for others, is that I'm able to see their authentic self, right? Like, you know, how they're showing up. And I love holding space for a lot of people that have started on the journey and they've continued it, and they'll show up whenever the timing's right and how it's unfolded and their shares. And I just feel that I'm a vessel, a container to hold space. We're all like here showing up and we're doing the work. And it's not, I feel that I'm not in a place that I'm healing people. They're in a place that I'm seeing them for who they truly are, and they're seeing me for who I truly am, and I'm just a space holder for them. So the gift is the reflection back and forth, that we're all here showing up, doing the best we can. And also the greatest gift too is everyone showing up to their own curiosity of like, hey, what's here? And I truly believe we're like onions. I mean, it's said in so many different contexts and texts, right? And it's just layers and it's layers. And once we have like a breakthrough of like why we might see something, next thing we know, it might show up in breathwork. We're seeing it from a different angle. And to listen to the stories and the shares from people.
Beautiful. And what do you think the biggest reward is for someone attending a breathwork class? Even if it's the first one to the last one to the all in between. So the biggest reward you think you go, this is why you should come.
Okay. One of the biggest rewards for attendees, and some of this is feedback, what I hear and or observe, and also myself, is it's the first time that we're able to quiet our mind. It may also be the first time it's okay to feel in our body and see what sensations are coming up. And it's okay to just breathe and connect with the life force that we're doing every day, but consciously. And we're oxygenating every single cell in our body. They know this, they start feeling this. And their reward is like that they're able to feel their breath, that in their bodies. A lot of times we become numb to our feelings, and emotions within our in our body. Also, like our thought processes behind that. So with breath, and the reward of this is like connecting all of it, and that all of it matters. And just being in the sensations of the feeling of this in that moment, it's huge. It's profound.
You rock. You rock. I'm having a tear.
Oh, yeah, okay.
With your breath work, where would you like to see yourself in 5 years with the practice of breath work? 5 to 10. Give you a little bit more room there.
I hate this question in
I know.
I hate this question in interviews.
It's one of these ones that everyone goes, I remember that from one of those jobs.
No, I'm like, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? In the middle of a pandemic, when we didn't know what was happening last year till tomorrow.
With your breathwork instructing, where would you like to be?
I know, sorry. You can tell my target. I know. In 5 years with breathwork, or where I'd love to see myself is at this moment in time, my experience with yoga, with Feng Shui, and with breathwork, and then also additional like learning and education and curiosity. Integrating all of it in the continuation of my journey of where I am now and where I'm going to be in the future, integrating all of it, because we're all connected. Everything is connected. And really supporting people around the world with this work, in their inner world and also in their outer worlds, because it's reflection. So embracing all the different modalities that I follow my curiosity about and supporting others in it to better their lives, their inner world and their outer world.
Are there any questions I'm not asking that I should be in regards to breathwork? In other words, is there anything that you would like to tell me that is just going, is she going to be asking me about that? And I haven't asked.
Okay. Do you have another question?
Sure.
Can we come back to
Sure,
that?
of course, yeah.
I would like to come back to that at the end.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, this is another one you may say, can we come back to that? But we can't because there's only 2 more questions.
Oh, you're so good.
What are your 3 wishes? Any wishes?
Oh my gosh.
Just off the top of your head, 3 wishes. Doesn't have to be in relation to breathwork, just as in Sara, the wonderful breathworker. Go for gold. No restrictions.
No,
the world is your oyster.
gosh.
The world is your oyster. I want to see a bit of you.
This is great. I listen to all these podcasts and there's always these key questions, and I think I play around with what would my answer be or whatever. And this one's got me. This one's really got me. But what I would say, my 3 wishes, and I know this for this moment in time.
Yep. That's all you can do.
Where we are at this exact moment. One of my wishes would be that the school systems, so schools and education systems, so both for students and teachers, to incorporate a mindfulness or mindful meditation practice daily. And it's for all students, even starting off in kindergarten, and all the way through all ages. And then also for the teachers and the administration. It's a very powerful tool, and it's a journey. There's no right or wrong, but just even holding space for that. Because our children are our future, and all of us have teachers, and all of us are students in the world.
Gives you time to think.
Oh wait, this is great. I get to stop because there's noises going by.
Outside people.
Because I'm carting my shit with me.
You're in the middle of your 3 wishes. Now, child.
Hold on. I'm mind you, there's a lady going by pulling a cart, so I'm saving my cart. Cancel. You should have seen the bag I brought. I would and I left in the car. Okay.
Bless you.
So, first wish is that children.
You're right.
Wowie.
They're good.
First wish is for children.
That's the first.
Yes.
And I've seen bunnies in petting zoos with collars, but never a bunny.
My purse isn't in this, is it? Is it?
No.
Oh, that's
no,
what I did.
sorry.
Okay. I was
No.
what?
I would take it personal.
I would not. Okay.
I'm not that bad. I do
No.
not-
I was like,
You know, your cans in it, your purse. Yeah, I'm filming from your neck down.
my aha. Okay. 3 wishes. First wish is that in our education system, in our national education system, that children of all ages, all the way from kindergarten through high school, it's incorporated that there is a mindful meditation allotment time, and it's taught and held every single day. Also for all of the teachers and administration in the schools. I think it's profound work. And the second wish would be that my second wish would be that breathwork is incorporated into the daily lives of everyone around the world. It is in different modalities, and when I say that, there's pranayama, so there's different types of breathwork, but specifically in the daily lives of everyone around the world in some way. And
Take a wish just for yourself.
I know, that's for yours. A wish for me, oh my God.
You can do it. You deserve it. You're worthy. Allow yourself to have one wish for you. Go on, indulge. You got permission.
At this moment in time, my third wish would be that I would start and run a program in a major organization that incorporates breathwork throughout the whole organization, and it's large, so it's covering at least 20,000 people.
Beautiful. Excellent. Okay, can we go back to that question?
Did you have another question?
Yeah, there's one word answer, and I need that one for the end.
Oh gosh.
The shebang.
Oh, okay.
Are there any questions I'm not asking that you wish I were asking in relation to breath work? Something that you're going, I would hope she asks me that, and I haven't. That you think is vital or important or necessary to people to really get the grasp of why you're here being interviewed.
This is going to be a long answer.
That's cool.
This is really good.
We've got like
Okay.
another hour. The last question is just one word, so hey.
All right. There's so much noise coming by. Okay.
It's okay. I have an editor for Netflix, and he's going to help.
Oh, he's going to help. Okay.
That's good.
Sound? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. With my journey with breathwork, one of the biggest things that I have experienced, not only for myself, but observing for other people, is that all of us live our lives from a place of, it's a personal lie. So it's like this negative belief that we have integrated into our daily life. And it started off at some point in childhood. And one could be is I'm not good enough, I'm not loved, I'm unworthy. There's so many different ones, but it all comes from a place of like not being good enough, or maybe not wanted, or unworthiness. And that personal lie shows up in everything in our life. It's our interactions with people, it's our daily life, how we respond and or react to other people. And it's a belief that it's deep within our being. And what breathwork does is the space that I hold for breathwork, the conscious, connected, circular breath. And that's what I hold space for at this moment in time. It's so gentle, it's so healing, and we're oxygenating every single cell in our being and in our body, right? So we're consciously connecting to a life force, which is our breath. We're breathing it through our whole body into each cell. And as we have memories, emotion, and trauma that are in our body. It's suppressed. And what we're doing is we're bringing that up to the surface to be healed in a way, and we're seeing it from a different perspective. And that goes back to, there's layers of the onion, right? Like we might process one thing, but we'll see it show up another way. So as we're doing breath work, we're getting insights to what is happening or what has happened to us, and we're breaking that pattern. And we're also seeing how maybe that personal lie showed up in that situation. With the breath work that I hold both group breathes and also private one-on-ones. And they're both fabulous, they're both healing, but really the one-on-one, we're really diving deep into the story of, it all starts off with birth trauma, like how you came into this world. And there is a lot of research on this, and it's like from the time of conception to the time of birth, and the whole series of emotions and maybe trauma and whatever was going on in our parents' lives and our mother. We're in the womb, right? We're absorbing all of this. And there's something to be said, like how there might be a few kids in a family and how each child has different aspects to them. And of course we're all unique in our own way, but there's also different scenarios of how we were birthed into the world. And there's tons of research on it, and really diving into the story of that, and how that story is showing up in the rest of our life. In regards to some of it might be tied to our personal life. And just diving deep into that and seeing it and breathing through it and processing it. Because at the end of the day, all of us just want to be seen, and we want to be heard, and we want to connect with love and connection. And some of our darkest days that it might be filled with anxiety and or depression, like there's looking at it and seeing it and breathing through it. And it's so supportive when you're working with somebody that is, as a trained professional. It would be so having a very well supported breath worker doing one-on-one sessions, you're developing that sense of trust, you're processing it, and then it's also very helpful to maybe have another support mechanism in regards to if you have a counselor or a therapist to help process some of this stuff too. And going back to one of the questions that you had asked me, a lot of people say, and is like a breathwork session is like having 10 therapy sessions. So really, when you're breathing and seeing whatever is coming up, then working with a therapist to help process some things even more. But the one-on-one breathes, like, we're getting to the story, we're seeing the pattern, we're processing. I mean, it's recommended doing 10, but like the private ones are so essential, because at the end of the day, sometimes we're like, what are we afraid of? What are we truly afraid of? And working through that and breaking through that, because we can be whoever we want to be. Another thing that comes up when people start doing breath work is, and it's happened for me and I've heard it by numerous people, is forms of addiction. We start seeing in a way how that addiction may have showed up in our life. Not all the times, but we might be seeing some of it. And some people start working through food addictions. Like they start realizing where the story is with why they use food as a comfort. It's not only food, it's also alcohol. One of the number one things is like the shifting up, like especially if you're addicted to nicotine. A lot of it may even be like you decide to do a vegetarian diet, and it's not all, like it's just a different awareness, because we're breathing into our bodies different. Like we're actually creating like new neural pathways in our mind, so we're opening ourselves up, we're getting out of our head in a way, and we start seeing things so differently. And so when we're around other people, we start processing things that are being said a little bit differently than what we did before. And going back to the sense of addiction, realizing where in some of our breath work, maybe in a group, maybe in a private, we start realizing how there is a tie to like addictive thoughts, how we might find comfort in depression. We might find comfort in joy. Like there's sometimes, we find comfort in having lots of coffee, right? Or lots of sugar and lots of chocolate. Like, so there's all different sides of it. And seeing it and being with it, like, okay, it might be time to take a break. So one of the biggest healing things I've seen is a lot of people with addiction. It's a great healing mechanism, and how we hold those thought patterns, those addictions, and those memories in our body, and as we're breathing, we're bringing it to the surface, and we start seeing it in a different light. That's all it is. We're just seeing it, and we're observing it in a different way. And we're not making it wrong or right, we're just seeing it differently. And also with the prana, so as we're breathing, we're consciously connecting to our breath, and our breath is our life force. So another word might be chi, right? So energy is chi, prana is life force, all of it's life force. So as we're breathing fully into our bodies, consciously and connected, not a forced breathe, we're breathing ourselves, inhale, exhale out. With that breath, we're gently breathing ourselves, we're connecting to our breath, and we're oxygenating every single cell in our being, in our body, and we're tapping into that life force on our own. And we're not using any other substance, whatever it might be. We're not using any other emotion. We're actually connecting to the breath, that life force, and we're able to be with our emotions and our memories, and most importantly, in that moment in time. That's it. Just being here right now with our breath.
Okay, your lucky last question.
Oh gosh, okay.
When I say this word, what's the one word you think that comes to your mind to describe it? Breathwork.
Oh.
I just saw a million words flow into your head. One word. Come on.
Oh, it's one word.
One word.
Can it be 2 words?
Nope. If it's connected.
It's connected. Yeah, it's connected. It's connected.
Okay. I'm just joking.
No, that's funny. Now I mean it's funny. One word to describe breathwork. Life force.
Beautiful. Woo!
Oh my gosh.
That was awesome.